Can I be your superhero?
Hello everyone. Today we have with us Emily. Hi Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily. I am actually in Boston, Massachusetts right now, super east in the US, and it's freezing outside. So I just graduated from Union College in June, and I studied neuroscience. I'm working my first job, but at Union, I was on the swim team for 4 years, and I loved it, and I really miss it. It was a really, really great experience. And now doing the real world, have a real job.
Oh, that's great. So how did you first learn about union?
So I first learned about Union my junior or senior year of high school. My uncle actually found out somebody who told him about Union, and then he was thinking a lot about it. And it's kind of a smaller school, and he thought that I would do really well at a smaller school. Kind of thought, it would be a good fit for me, and they have a really great swim team there. So I learned about that probably in maybe a little bit earlier because I did apply early, but.
Can you briefly elaborate on your admission process? Like which round did you go, and how's the like were you recruited or did you had a walk on the swim team?
Yeah, so I reached out to the coach of the swim team once I found out about Union. And I was kind of looking on the Union page, seeing the swim times and seeing if I could maybe fit in. And so I reached out to the coach, and he had a recruit trip, and I stayed overnight. So I stayed with somebody who was a sophomore, and I stayed with them for an overnight there. I met all of the others in the fall or the winter, and I really, really loved it. And I really saw myself there for the next 4 years. So I ended up applying for early decision. So I wanted to know on the earlier side if I was in. I was really excited. I really wanted to go there. So I applied early, and I did find out that I got in January. It was really exciting.
So like after acceptance, like how did you come to this conclusion that like I want to attend union or something like that, and like make it your second home, like for the upcoming 4 years of your undergrad?
Okay, so when I got accepted, I did that really big dance. I was so happy, and I found out through the online portal, and then got kind of like a big mail package from them with the acceptance letter and a bunch of other cool little things. And then I was early. I pretty much knew that I was going there. I think that it might have been a binding decision. So I knew that I would be going there, and I told everyone right away. It was really exciting.
So like, can you like sum up all the 4 years at your union, and like maybe if you can't, like, can you share some specific memories that you made at union?
Yeah, so my 4 years at Union, they were all really different, and there's a lot of different memories that I have each year. So going into Union, I didn't really swim on a club team. So most people swim on a USA club team, at least around here, and that gives you a lot of experience with like the competitiveness and how much practice you have to be doing. So I really wasn't used to that. So in college, I wasn't, I guess, at the level of the other kids on the team, kind of. I hadn't previously been practicing like every day for 4 hours or 3 hours. So my first year was definitely kind of rocky because I wasn't used to that. And we had our conference championships and I've been working really hard all year, but at the same time, I just hadn't adapted super well because I was so unfamiliar with it. So at the conference championships, I'm a breaststroker, so I did the 200 breaststroke, and I finished, I think, 8th or 10th, and I really, really wanted to place higher than that, so it made me kind of angry. And so over the summer, I did a lot of training by myself, trying to get better, and then going into my sophomore year, different. I trained super hard. I made sure that I was like training on the off days too because I wanted to do a lot better. So my sophomore year, I ended up at the conference championships, and I ended up finishing first in the 200 breaststroke, and it was really awesome. That was probably like my best memory at Union, just because it's really, really nice to like get something good after you've been working really hard. It was really, really rewarding. And then my junior year, I got time in that same race, but I actually finished lower. So I got a best time, but the other girls were getting faster, which was frustrating. But I was really happy that I got a best time. My senior year, I got disqualified for the first time in 20 years during conference championships. So that was hard to swallow. But it was really fun. Like my 4 years, I definitely wouldn't change anything about it. I definitely learned a ton. And every year, like the team is just really, really close, and there's such great camaraderie between everyone. And then it's really fun every year when like the new freshmen come, and then you have 10 new like teammates, friends, and it was overall like the best experience ever. I wish that I could go back. I would do anything. So if anybody's going into college now, like it's every single day. Try to be there as long as you can.
Okay, that's great. There's a lot of achievements in swimming. So can we have some like inside the classroom or the academics?
So, so like I said, I studied neuroscience. I've always been really interested in sciences and the brain. So, when I was going into college, I really wanted to go to physician's assistant school after I graduated, and that was kind of my goal. And neuroscience was difficult, but I liked it so much that I wanted to stick with it. So even when I wasn't getting like the best grades that I like wanted to get, I still wanted to stick with it. And I actually ended up finishing pretty well. And so I graduated with my BS in neuroscience, and I decided not to go to PA school because, first of all, college is really expensive, and I didn't really want to like go straight from school into another school. So maybe later down the road, I'll maybe try that route. But right now, I'm actually in a sales job. So one of the things that I learned a lot from school was like communicating with people and seeing kind of how people tick, and that definitely translates into like the sales job world, if that makes sense. But my minor in school was sociology, and I really enjoyed sociology. I learned a lot that I didn't know. The classes at Union, I loved that they were super small. So there was always a really good relationship between the student and the professor because they knew you so well, as opposed to like a really big school where you have like 300 kids in one class, or students in a class. So that was really great, and it definitely really helped me to keep my grades up. Going to office hours and stuff was always really easy. There was always time. The professors always made time for the students. And then one of the clubs that I was involved in was called the SAC Club, and it's Student Athletic Advisory Club. So you kind of kept in touch with what all of the other sports teams were like up to, how their schedule was playing out, like how their games or meets were going. And then we kind of had like fundraisers that we would do for different charities and stuff like that, organizing events. So that was really fun. And it was really nice to like be in a group where you're with a lot of athletes who are kind of doing the same thing as you, and you have like a very similar schedule. But at the same time, like you're bringing all of the different like groups of people into like one network kind of through like the events that we would organize.
You seem pretty busy with your like activities in your college. What are the challenges that you faced, like from your transition from your high school to your college, in terms of both academics and like athletics, like swimming?
What challenges athletically or academically?
Yeah.
So athletically, going from high school to college, it was just a big difference in the hours that we would spend training. So in high school, I would only have probably an hour and 20-minute practice a day because that was what my high school team was doing. And I didn't do a whole lot of like USA club, which would have brought me more practice. So once I got into college, our college schedule was that we had a morning lift 3 days a week from 5:45 a.m. to 7 a.m. And then we would get in the pool until 7:30. And then later in the day, we would have practice from 3:30 to 6. So with a 30-minute stretch built in there. But it was just a really big adjustment going from so little swimming and practicing to so much. But definitely got used to it pretty quickly. And then it really helped to be just surrounded by all of your teammates who end up being your best friends. So you can always talk to them about like how much it sunk sometimes, or if like you didn't have a great day swimming and you got upset about that, like you always knew that there was other people who were your best friends going through the same thing. So that was really helpful. Academically, I think that it's similar for a lot of people, but high school academics are challenging, but college academics are kind of like a whole new world. Like there's a lot that you have to stay on top of. And one thing that definitely helped me was that Union is on a trimester schedule. So we only took 3 classes at a time, as opposed to in high school, we were taking 5 or 6. So at Union, it was 3 classes, but they were definitely accelerated. So you had to keep up with a lot of work, but it was nice writing in your agenda that, you only have 3 actual classes that you're physically learning material on at the same point of time. So athletically, academically, definitely a big jump, but it wasn't like impossible to get used to it. It actually was pretty easy to adapt to.
So, like looking back at your 4 years, so how do you think that Union shaped your life in these 4 years?
I learned so much about myself, I guess. College really taught me how to, like, what to prioritize, how to maintain good grades, good swim times, how to stay positive when things were crazy and hectic. That was definitely a really big lesson, just learning how to manage all my time. And it's super helpful right now with working a full 9 to 6 job, managing my time, knowing how to fit in my work, exercising, like other stuff that comes up. So that was really, really good stuff in growing. Also, I learned so much, definitely. Going to a liberal arts college taught me so much in all different fields of study. So you have these different courses that you have to take at Union. And in the beginning, it's kind of frustrating. Like, oh, I'm not a humanities major, but I have to take this class. But at the end of the day, I learned so much about things that I wouldn't have studied if I hadn't been streamlined into them. So that was really helpful. I really enjoyed that about the liberal arts setting. And then swimming definitely taught me how to be strong in all aspects of life. It really taught me how to face challenge, and I definitely made a ton of friends that I'm going to have forever at Union. So I really loved it, and I wouldn't change anything.
So, moving on with this academic acumen and the athletic experience that you gathered at Union. So, what do you look forward after, maybe 5 years, or where do you see yourself 5 years down the line?
Yes, I graduated in June. Right now, I am working as an account executive in a logistics company. So I am essentially in sales. I think that I want to do sales for a while. I like communicating with people. I love talking, if you can't tell. I like later down the road, I think that I would want to go into more of a medical type of field, because I did study neuroscience. So if I don't decide to go back to school for PA school, I think that I would want to go into some type of medical device sales, just because I definitely have more knowledge in that area. And that's what I really enjoy. But there are so many options. That's one of the things that I've realized after graduating is there are so many different roles and jobs out there. It's really hard to find what's going to suit you best. And I studied brain science, and right now I'm working with logistics. So like you can really go into anything, and especially with having different knowledge in all different fields from union, it really helps you to like expand your options of like what you would actually be good at. So that's really, it's a nice like relieving feeling to have, knowing that you have knowledge in so many different fields, I guess. And then down the road, swimming wise, I probably will want to swim masters at some point. That's kind of like, I don't know if they have that all over the place, but it's like the older people swimming group.
Yeah.
I don't like to consider myself an older person, but I kind of am at this point. So right now I'm taking my time off, and it's been, so with COVID and stuff right now, nothing is open around here, so we can't use pools or anything. So it's been really hard to find anywhere to swim. I actually spend a lot of my summer in Cape Cod, so I spend a lot of time swimming in the ocean down there, but I think that later on in the next 5 years, I probably want to be working some kind of field, and then I want to be swimming with masters or some type of group. And I think that's it for now. I don't know if I want to like, it's hard thinking about how in 5 years I'm going to be 27 and 5 years out of college. I feel like a lot can change. So I hope that a lot of things stay the same, but I also know that there's room for like growth and different things to find. So I'm excited.
Okay. So thank you, Emily, for sharing so much of your experience and your experience at Union, especially, and how Union shaped your life. So thank you, Emily, for so much of your valuable time, and thank you for joining us.